Hello and welcome to another video. Now, if you are an older runner and your running is all one paced and you may have avoided or be avoiding doing speed work, and the reason you may be avoiding doing speed work is when you've done speed work, you've got injured. This video's going to be for you to navigate why that is, what to do differently, and why it's important to do speed work even when you're older. So for most runners who are older and they're doing speed work and are having problems, there's two problems. They're not meeting themselves where they're presently at, and broadly, the speed work they're doing is too long. One of the things I share in our free 10-day workshop, the Marathon Maximizer, is running is all about dosage. So when most runners do speed workouts, they tend to do them for too long and they don't do them hard enough. Now you might think that's odd. Well, what I mean by that is they get caught in a kind of grey zone where they will be running for long periods of time quite hard versus short periods of time hard or very hard, but with quite good rest periods. The other thing is obviously you've got to assess where you're presently at. This is another thing I share in our Marathon Maximizer, where before you do anything, you've got to know where you've come from, what you've done over the last 8 weeks. If you haven't done a speed session in 3 years or 12 weeks, your body's like 12 weeks, it's got a residual memory of speed sessions. It's like something that happened a while back. I have people say to me sometimes, oh, I ran in school, and they're 50. So, yeah, you ran in school, but it doesn't give you a green card to go and do what the heck you like now. You've got to be realistic, and you've got to be careful that you don't run with your ego. You run with the data. So you have a situation where you look at and you go, what was the last speed workout I did? And if it's over 8 weeks ago, then you have to acknowledge that. So when I say, let's start off with the dosage. I can't give you every speed workout, but let's take a session that I might give to some of my runners. Now, obviously, the caveat here is it would be dependent, as I've just said, on what they've done prior to this. But you might say, for instance, have a speed workout for 40 minutes. So initially you think, oh, this is a speed workout for 40 minutes, but let's break that speed workout actually down. What it's actually got is 5 minutes zone 1. So you do the warm up. So that's a conversational running. Zone 2, steady conversational. So that's 10 minutes already gone of the 40 minutes. So you've got 30 minutes left. Then you might have the speed portion of it, but it might be 8 lots of 30 seconds at zone 5. Well, that's only 4 minutes speed. Now, all right, that's 4 minutes at your maximum effort. Now, if you're working from effort and not pace, you're only ever going to run to your maximum effort, whatever that is, depending on your levels of fitness. But then it might be that you've got, after every rep, you've got a minute, 90 seconds rest. Now, a lot of runners don't take the rest, but it would be, say, a zone 1. A zone 1 might mean walking for the minute or 90 seconds to get back to a point where you could talk. And then you'd carry on doing the reps. And then at the end of that, you'd probably have a 5-10 minute warm down. So actually the dosage of the whole speed workout, the whole speed portion's like 4 minutes. Now, I don't want to be too critical. A lot of runners will use their park runners speed runs. That's going to be a lot more than 4 minutes or 5 minutes. And a lot of runners, not all, but many of the club workouts When you work out the speed portion of the hour they're out there, 40 minutes, it's way more than that. And when you look at that, that's little surprise that the body goes, oh my God, what's going on? And breaks. Even my son's recently taken up running, and I got him going out doing steady runs, but he's young, he's 25, and he went to his local club. Now, I'm not going to criticize them. Their goal is to do a speed workouts for a broad amount of people. And he told me what he did, and I thought, I'm not going to say anything. But that's a lot of impact, even on a young body that hasn't done, going back to my original point, he's fit, but his body had not at that point done a lot of speed workouts. So his body was not acclimatized to it. And then I get a text a couple of weeks later, been struggling a little bit with my Achilles. And I'm like, was that the speed session, do you reckon? Yeah. Now, that's what I'm saying. We could blame the speed session. We could turn around and say, my son shouldn't have done the speed session. Or if you got injured in that speed session, you shouldn't have done the speed session. But when you roll it back, what should have happened is my son or someone else should have assessed how many speed sessions they'd done up to that point. When was the last speed session? Then met themselves where they presently were. Then made sure the dosage was correct. And if in doubt, keep it really light. So, for instance, if you haven't done a speed session in 3 years, then, excuse me, do an easy run. And the last 5 minutes in the run, at some point, just do 30 seconds of pickups with 60 to 90 second slowdowns, and then a 10-minute warm down. And that is your speed session. Because the way I look at speed is, imagine a cake. Pretty much the base of the cake is made out of your zone 1 and 2 running. That is the cake. And your speed work, 4 and 5, your harder speed work, is the cream. Now, you can only put as much cream on there is cake. If your cake's this big, you can put that much cream on it. If your cake's that big, you can only put that much cream on it. So if your speed work is always kind of in line with your base, but the problem is that we develop our base and then we put way more cream on it. We go, let's really go mad. And our bodies can't keep up with it. Now, you might be thinking, what about, zone 3, comfortably hard? Well, you've got your sprinkling of tempo work in there. And one of the things that we build runners up to is we definitely try to not make sure that runners aren't running all the time in zone 3, comfortably hard, because most runners, when they come to us, are running like that. And it brings me right full circle back to my original point, is when runners come to us to be coached, they're running comfortably hard most of the time. They're doing their easy runs too hard, and their speed workouts, as I said earlier, for too long and not hard enough. So that's why we inch them away from running too often in zone 3. However, zone 3 is great with that sprinkling on the cake. So what we have is finish fast. So like you'll have a zone 2 conversational run with a little bit of pickup at the end, like I said earlier, with a zone 3. Excuse me, zone 3. My voice is breaking. I'm only 59. And a zone 3, just to pick up at the end. That kind of gets your body used to finishing fast and also a little pickup. And that can be a great introduction to perhaps the more intense zone 4, harder runs, and zone 5, as hard as you can run. Because to finish the video, the truth is often in the middle. You'll get people saying you should be doing more intense work all the time. Your body needs that. It needs HIIT. It needs all that. And then you'll have people saying, you just got to keep your runs to a nice little, conversational. That's the way forward to fitness. And the truth is, if you're just about wanting to be fit, then walking's great. You don't need to run. You know, we were built to walk. But as a runner, if you want to improve and get faster, or at least improve from where you presently are, the truth is often in the middle. Sadly, it's not sexy, but primarily doing conversational running with some cream on the cake, with a sprinkling of that zone 3, that comfortably hard, will generally get you where you need to go. And if you're not doing speed works, then what you need to do is assess where you presently are, meet yourself where you are, and remember the dosage. You know, and if you look at a speed workout of a generic running plan and it looks like a big chunk of it is going to be speed, or that chunk is too big for you, then make a grown-up decision. If it's got 7 reps and you think that's too much, then do 2 and see how it goes, and check in with yourself. And if your body's going, no, then don't do it. The generic plan is a map. It knows nothing about you as a runner. Your Garmin watch doesn't know who you are. Your heart rate monitor doesn't know who you are. You know who you are. And so you have to trust yourself a little bit. And that's where, if I may say so, that's where a coach comes in. But if you don't want or can't afford a coach, then you have to start trusting yourself and taking responsibility for your own running a little bit more, and not lay the training plan as some sort of god that you bow down to and obey almost blindly. Yeah? Okay, that's it. And if you're interested and you want more of this kind of stuff, every now and again, about every month to 6 weeks, we run a marathon maximizer. It's a free 10-day workshop where we look at your generic training plan and we help you become your own compass, like I've just said, to help you get more predictable training results that lead to you being more confident and race ready when you do that half marathon, or whatever your race is. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, fire away. Bye for now.